Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to BYJU'S exam prep. My name is Naveen, and I'm a 100% TILR in CAT QA DIN LR. I am a serial 99% TILR in that, and we will continue today with Mission CAT 2022. We'll be looking at data interpretation charts, and today is our first part of it. So it's a two-part session. We'll be looking at the DIs, how to attempt them, how to decode them, how to interpret them. Okay, so I hope all of you are doing well. I hope the video and audio is all good, all clear. Well, so let's begin. So this is the first set that we have. The bar chart below shows the revenue received in millions US dollars from subscribers to a particular internet service. The data covers the period 2003 to 2007 for the United States and Europe. The bar chart also shows the estimated revenues from subscription to this service for the period 2008 to 2010. So we have the bar graph, we are given the years, and subscription revenue in million US dollars. The white bars, they show US, and the shaded or the black one shows Europe. So the difference between the estimated subscription in Europe in 2008 and what it would have been if it were computed using the percentage growth rate of 2007 over 2006 is closest to. Yeah, good evening everyone. Good evening. Is my voice now all good, Mohit? Am I audible? Suraj, most probably the results will be out, or it may have been out any time now. So how will we go about this? Chalo, good Mohit. So how will we go about this? So when this given, these years are given as 0304, it's 2003 to 2010. This is what is given. So these are estimated revenues, right? Because the data covers the period 2003 to 2007 for the United States and Europe. So up to 2007, these are the values given. The bar chart also shows the estimated revenues from subscription to the service for the next 3 years. Suppose we are at year 2007 or beginning of 2008. Of course, up to 2007, we exactly know what was the revenue generated. What about the coming 3 years? So those are the estimated values. So the difference between the estimated subscription in Europe in 2008 and what it would have been if it were computed using the percentage growth rate of 2007 over 2006 is closest to. So what will be the answer? How will we calculate it? What does this question mean? So, well, the question means that if, see, the estimated value of, as an estimated subscription in Europe in 2008 is given a little over 600. Okay, so we are looking at Europe in the year 2008. This is estimated, right? This is given a little over 600. If you watch closely, the Europe bar, the black colored, it's not exactly going to lie, it's not lying on the 600 line, it's a little above it, right? So we can consider that to be what, 605, 610, right? Okay. Now they are asking that what would have been the actual or the calculated 2008 estimated value instead of 610 if the calculation was based on 2006 to 2007 percentage growth. So whatever percentage change happened from 2006 to 2007, if the same was applicable from 2007 to 2008, same percentage, okay, then what would have been the estimated value in the year 2008 for Europe? Now, once you get that value, so the question is, what is the closest difference between them? So 610 is this value. What about the new value that we are going to get by calculating the percentage growth? So of course, from 2006 to 2007, the value grew from, this is 380 to 500, right? So if the same percentage growth happened from 2007 to 2008, what value will it result in? That's the question. Sorry, the year is above, the data is here. So what value will it result in? So 380 has become 500. What is the multiplier? So if I multiply this by 500 by 380, this is what it will result in, right? So 500 by 380 is going to be 50 by 38, which is same as 25 upon 19. Which means I'm going to multiply 500 by 25 upon 19 to get the value in the year 2008. So 500 into 25 upon 19. So this is going to be 12,500 upon 19. This is going to be how much? So 125 and we have 19. So 19 into 5 is 95. 19 into 6 is going to be 100, 19 into 6 is going to be 114, right? And then we have another 11. So this is going to be 19 into 6 is 104, 60, 114, sorry, 114. Then we have 110. So 110 will go 50 because 114 was 6 times. So 110 will go 5 point something times. So the closest value difference between them is going to be in 40s, 40 point something, 610 and 650 something, right? So the closest is going to be 50. So 40 के आसपास क्या है, ये 50 होना चाहिए. Little calculative. Okay, the next one. The bar chart shows, okay, we have the same set. The question is new. In 2003, they're talking about the year here. 60% of subscribers were men. In Europe were men. Given that women subscriber increase at the rate of 10% per annum and men at the rate of 5% per annum, what is the approximate percentage growth of subscribers between 2003 and 2010 in Europe? The subscription prices are volatile and may change each year. What about this? So number of men and women, they are increasing at the rate of 5% every year. So what is the approximate percentage growth? The options are very far, so it's going to be much easier to figure out. Between 2003 and 2010 in Europe. What would be the answer? Okay, so here it is. So in 2003, suppose there were 100 people. Out of those 100 people, 60 were men and remaining 40 were women. Now it is given that women subscribers increased by 10%. So now we are going to have 44 women in the next year, which is 2004. And men subscription increased by 5%. So this is going to be 63 men. So in 2004, what you will realize is there are 107 people now. Then only this 10% increase on women, which constitute 40% of the total population, and 5% increase in the number of men, which constitute 60% of the population of the men of the total people, will make sense. So what we see is the number of subscribers from 100, it has become 107. So can we say 7% is the growth of total number of people year on year, so that we can save ourselves a lot of time to calculate for women differently and then men differently and then use weighted average. This is the same logic as, since men constitute, right, this is 3:2. So if men constitute 3 units, or 3 is the weightage of men, and they are at a 5% growth, women constitute 2 units of the total population out of 5%, out of 5 units, and they make a 10% growth. So the overall growth is going to be this, which is 15 plus 20, 35 divided by 5, which will give us 7% only. So instead of calculating for men differently and women differently, we can say that overall population increased by 7%. So either the weighted average method will help, or just assume a total number of people in the year 2003 as 100 and see what happens in 2004. We see there is a 7% increase. What will happen in the next year? You will have again 7% increase on the new value, right? Because now in 2004, 40% of that those 107 people are women and 60% are men. This will keep on growing. Hold on, it's not necessary that in 2004 we need to have the same thing. So in 2003, 60% of subscribers were men. Later on it will change. So how much is it going to be year on year? Since it is from 2000, Varun, we are using 2003 to 2004 because this 10% is not from 2003 to 2010. This 10% is every year per annum, and for men it is 5% per annum. So if you are going to use 10% for women and 5% for men, it is only going to help you figure out what the next year values are going to be, isn't it? So a 7% increase over here and another 7% increase over here, again a 7% increase over here. So how many 7% increase will happen from 2003 to 2010? One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times 7% will 7% increase will happen, right? So what will be the successive of all of these 7 times 7%? In other words, what is 1.07 whole to the power 7? What will this result in? Any idea? 1.07 whole to the power 7 will result in what? It's definitely going to be more than 49. But is it going to be 50? Is it going to be 62? That's what we need to find out. So what do you guys think it will be? Okay. Chalo, you got it, Varun. How much will that successively increase? Because successive increase is going to be more than what you see as this normal sum, right? 7 is added 7 times, which is 7 into 7, 49. 49% से तो ज़्यादा होगा. अब कितना ज़्यादा होगा? Will it touch 50% only? Will it touch 62%? So this is going to be almost 60%. How will you solve this one? You can write this as the binomial of 1 plus 0.07 whole to the power 7 as a plus b whole to the power 7, which is a plus power into this plus 7 into 6 by 2 into 0.07 square. So binomial expand agar karoge, and you have to only calculate the first 2 or 3 terms. Why? Because beyond that 0.07 cube, 0.07 to the power 4 will be such a small value, it's not really going to affect your final answer. Anyways, the options are far, we have to figure out the closest one. So this is going to be 1 plus 7 into 7 is 49, and then we will have 21 into 49, which is same as saying 343 ka 3 times. Right, which is going to be another 0.1. So this is 1.59 se to zyada hoga. And 1.59 is what? 60% more? So the right answer should be A, 62. That's the closest we can get to. Okay, the third one. Consider the annual % change in the gap between subscription revenues in the US and Europe. What is the year in which the absolute value of this change is the highest? So I hope you understand the question. See, this set is easy. Easy as in, it's very easy to understand. There is not enough of reasoning that is involved. It's the calculation that is involved. The kind of one of the DIs that you expect. Calculation intensive, bade numbers. Every time you will have to calculate percentage, or you may have to calculate successive percentage. Something like that will make a set a difficult one. हाँ सूरज, आ जाएगा आज. So is it going to be 2003 to 2004? Is it going to be 2005 to 2006, 2006 to 2007, 8 to 9, 9 to 10? So we are given 5 options, so we will be choosing one among those, right? Or we can also look at the bar graph and then decide, as in bar chart, and then decide what is happening. So the question says, consider the annual % change in the gap between subscription values of US and Europe. तो पहले क्या करना है? पहले gap create करना है. For example, 2003 to 2004, what is the gap? In 2003. So in 2003 to 2004 में, the gap in the year 2003 is somewhere around 210. And what about the gap in the year 2004? How far is it? This is going to be 100, 200, 300, 340 ऐसा कुछ, right? Assuming it's 20 below and it's 20 above the black. I'm just counting the extra bar length that the white bar has. Now we have to calculate the percentage change, right? So what is the percentage change? Can I say this increased by 130 over 210, which is an increase of 13 over 21. This is the percentage increase that is happening. Sorry, 13 over 21, not 12. Now what is 13 over 21? We don't care about the value right now because we are going to compare once we are done calculating at least one more. So let's look at 2005 and 2006. In 2005 and in 2006, what are the gaps? So in 2005, the gap is 100, 200, 300. It's little less than 300, right? So let's take this as 290. And the year 2006, the gap is 100, 200, and again a little less than 300, which is again going to be around 280 or 90. So we can see that there is no increase over 290, right? So 5 and 6 also done. So now if we have two values, now we can compare which is the highest, 5 to 6 or 3 to 4. Of course 3 to 4. Okay, 2006 to 2007. In 2006, the gap is 290 that we just saw above, and in 2007, this gap is a little over 210. So the percentage change is a negative 80 over 290, which we can say 8 over 29. है ना? ठीक है. Which one is higher among 2003, 4 and 2006, 7? It's 2003, 4, right? Because the numerator and denominator are relatively closer in 3 and 4 as compared to 6 and 7. So 6 and 7 भी नहीं होगा. So far A is the answer. 2008 to 2009, 8 to 9. So in 8, this gap is a little less than 200. So let's take this as 190. And in the year 2009, this gap is somewhat 110. So we see that there is a change of 80 over 190. Which is going to be 8 by 19 ka change. See, the question is asking us absolute values. So the sign is not our concern. Change may, you don't worry whether it is an increase or the decrease. You simply say which fraction, by ignoring the signs, which fraction is the higher value, which is the lower value. Right? So are you guys able to see the value? Huh. Now, between 2003-4 and 2008-9, 13 by 21 is the larger value or 8 by 19 is the larger value? Which one is the larger value? (13 by 21 or 8 by 19? (13 by 21? See, 21 is the denominator, 13 is the numerator. Can we say it's more than 50%? 50% क्या compare कर लेते हैं? And if you look at 2008 to 2009, it's 8 by 19. So 19 is your denominator. So 8 is the numerator. 50% से कम है उधर numerator. So it's less than 50%. So we want the highest. So this is also not going to work out. Next is 2009 to 2010. 2009 is 110 and it's 100. Of course, this change is not going to be much. This is a 10 over 110, which is again less than 50%. So the highest we will have at 2003 and 4. Okay. Next one. While the subscription in Europe has been growing steadily towards that of the US, the growth rate in Europe seems to be declining. Which of the following is closest to the percent change in growth rate of 2007 over 2006 relative to the growth rate of 2005 over 2004? So what the question is telling us to do: 2004 to 2005, find the growth rate. 2006 to 2007, find the growth rate. And between those two growth rates, suppose this is first G1 percentage increase, this is G2 percentage increase. Between G1 and G2, you need to find the percentage change. So percentage का percentage change calculate करना होगा. Since the options are far, it's going to be relatively easier to solve. Also, please also understand why the options are so far. The options are so far because we cannot predict as to what is exactly the bar length at a lot of places. For example, in 2004, Europe, is it 180? Is it 181? Is it 185? It's very difficult to predict. So we are just using the, the basic logic, whatever visually we can, deduce. So it looks good at 180, so that's what we are taking, because 190 is going to be much closer to 200 wala line, right? So how much is this going to give us? 2004 to 2005, can we say that it was 180, that eventually becomes 280? Whether I take 280 or 275, not going to affect much. Actually, it should be more, less than 280, right? Because 180 itne pe to ye aur kam hai. So let's take this as 260. So this is an increase of 80 over 180. Don't solve, leave it as such. 2006 to 2007, 1, 2, 3, 380 in the year 2006 is now going to become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 500 in the year 2007. So what is the increase? The increase is that of 120 over 380. This is what you have. Now we have to find the percentage change between these two percentage changes, right? So we have to find 2006 2007 ka growth relative to 2004 to 5, right? So this is going to be 120 upon 380 upon 80 upon 180. 2006 ka with relative to 4 and 5 karna hai. So you are comparing a number with respect to some number, then that number is the base, not the number that you start with. So the first thing we will take care of is going to be zeros. Next we can take care of the 2 that we see. So this is going to be 6, this is going to be 19, this is going to be 4, this is going to be 9. Now the denominator will become numerator, and this is what we'll have. So 9 into 6, okay, now 6 and 4 can also be simplified, so we'll have 3 and 2. So we have 27 over 38. 27 over 38, what is the closest? Right? What is the closest that we can get? Can I say this is 27 over 36 filhal, because they both are in the table of 9? 27 over 36 is going to be 2 by 3. If this is 2 by 3, what is the percentage change in the growth rates? 1 by 3, 33%, right? So the closest option that you will get is going to be option C, not D. This is the multiplying factor. You have to calculate the percentage change in the growth rate. So please understand this. Suppose this turns out to be A percentage, this turns out to be B percentage after calculation. You don't have to figure out B by A. वो नहीं figure out करना है. You have to figure out B is what percentage more or less than A. So don't you think you will have to subtract and then divide it by A? Or what you can do is simply divide it. This will result in the multiplying factor, isn't it? Got it? I hope this is understood. You don't have to calculate the percentage by taking these two growth rates. Between these two growth rates also further you have to calculate the percentage change. Okay. So 27 by 38 is going to be close to 2/3 से थोड़ा कम, right? So it's going to be little less than 66.66%. Less than 66.66% if I say 65%. So this is the multiplying factor, right? This is what I have done. So what will be the percentage change if you see the multiplying factor as 2 by 3? 1 by 3. If it is less than 2 by 3, the complement is going to be more than 1 by 3. More than 1 by 3 means 33.33% से ज़्यादा. अखिल क्या मिस्टेक हो रहा है? I hope it is clear. Okay, next set. The figure below represents the sales and net profit in rupees crore of IVP Limited for 5 years from 94-95 to 98-99. During this period, the sales increased from rupees 100 crores, as we can see from the black squares, to rupees 680 crores in the year 98-99 that we can see. Correspondingly, the net profit increased from 2.5 crores to rupees 12 crores. So what is net profit, sales? How are they related? So net profit is defined as the excess of sales over total cost. As in, we can say net profit. What is the mathematical meaning of the English word excess? It means minus. So net profit is going to be sales minus total cost. Anyways, we know that profit is sales minus cost. So net profit, final profit is equal to sales minus total cost. This cost may be raw material or some fixed costs. Some of these costs are going to be variable components. Now the question is the highest percentage of growth in sales, highest percentage growth in sales related to the previous year occurred in which year? This is relatively easier to find out. Sales का यानी black वाले का highest percentage growth in which year did it occur? In other words, 100 has become 250. What is the percentage increase? 250 has become 300. What is the percentage increase? They are talking about growth. So you can't take 300 to 290 because that's a decrease. 290 has become 680. What is the percentage increase? It looks like which year? 1998, 99, the increase as with respect to previous year is more, right? So if its increase is more, will its percentage increase be also more? How do we know that? Looking at the slope, if that's what you're thinking, you are wrong. Slope doesn't give us anything about percentage increase. देखो 100 has become 250, so can I say this is an excess of 150 over 100? So can I say this is 150 percentage? 150 percentage increase हुआ इधर. 290 has become 680, so can I say there is an increase of 390 over 290? Is it 1.5 times? Is it 1.5? Is it 150 percentage? No, this is less than 150 percentage. आप 300 मान लो ना 290 को. If this is 300, तो 300 का 150 percentage कितना होता है? 450. This is very very far away from 450. This numerator 390. So it's not going to be 150% even though its slope was higher. So how come its percentage change is going to be smaller? It's not because of the slope. It's because of, see, slope can be anywhere, no? Suppose if I have this slope and then if I have a little lesser slope. Little lesser slope can be at a base, as in closer to the x-axis, and a higher slope can be very upwards on the x-axis. Percentages, they are always calculated on the previous values. So it matters that that slope lies how close to x-axis, because if a value is closer to x-axis, इसका मतलब यही होता है कि उसका base छोटा होगा, as in the denominator is going to be smaller, the percentage is going to be higher, right? So do not use slope while calculating slope of lines in a line diagram, in a line chart. If they ask you percentage change, that is going to be an error that you will end up doing. So 95, 96, there was the maximum percentage growth in sales as compared to the previous year. ठीक है. Next, the highest percentage growth in net profit relative to the previous year was achieved in. Same question, but instead of sales, now they are targeting net profit. Net profit as in the diamond shaped white. That's what they are asking us to calculate the percentage change over there. And only growths have to be calculated if they have mentioned. Instead of growth, had it been percentage, so it doesn't matter increasing or decreasing, you will have to check all. But in the case of growth, if there is any decrease, don't calculate it. You can't say it's a negative growth. Won't work. Growth मतलब बढ़ना चाहिए, नीचे नहीं जाना चाहिए. हाँ वरुण, it should be. I mean, people who have been following it since the beginning, they would know that we try to solve as many varieties of questions as possible. So 2.5 has become 4.5, 4.5 has become 6, 6 has become 8.5, 8.5 has become 12. Again, slope mat check karo. The base matters. So 98 to 99, from 97 to 98, can I say this is an increase of 3.5 over 8.5? 35 by 85, point hata dete hain. 97, 98, 6 has become 8.5, so that's an increase of 2.5 over 6. We can write that as 25 upon 60. 96, 97, that is going to be from the previous year, so that's an increase of 2.5. No, sorry, it's an increase of 1.5 over 4.5, so that is 15 by 45. And 95 to 96, that's an increase of 2 over 2.5. Don't solve when you write down the fractions, okay? Don't calculate each and every fraction, because maybe you will have good enough confidence without even calculating as to which one is the largest percentage change or the largest fraction that you are seeing right now. It's obviously D. 20 by 25 is 80% change. You don't have 80% anywhere. It's not even 50% anywhere. right? Okay. Defining probability as the ratio of net profit to sales. IVP Limited recorded the highest profitability in. This is also known as margin percentage, right? Profitability का दूसरा नाम, when you calculate profit over selling price, because normally profits are calculated over cost price, that's what we call them as profit or profit percentage. But when you calculate over selling price, it's called margin percentage or profitability. So that's what they have asked us to calculate. In which year do you see the highest profitability? Is the ratio of net profit to sales. So will we be solving these, or we can solve it faster? See, net profit would mean the diamond, right? And sales would mean the black square. We need to calculate diamond divided by the shaded square. And we need to find the highest of this. Now this fraction is going to be highest when the numerator is going to be greater than denominator. Pehla step to wo hai. Now if we have two such cases or 3 or 5 such cases where the numerator is greater than the denominator, so between those we will look at the common denominators or common numerators, and then we will solve, then we will cross multiply and compare. That's the latter phase. So if you look at 94, 95, numerator and denominator, they are almost same height, right? So I can say that the fraction is almost 1, a little over 1, because diamond is little above that black. Don't worry about 2.5 and 100. Every height is going to start from 0, right? So अगर वो 2.5 है तो दूसरा वाला भी आपका 6 है. If you make that 2.5 is 250, the other 6 will become 600. If you make that 2.5 is 25, the other value will become 60. In comparison, if you multiply both the sides or both the values by a certain number, your comparison doesn't change, right? As long as you are not multiplying it by a negative value. So just going by that, we can look at 97, 98 में ये वाला numerator is much larger than the denominator, which is not there in any of the remaining 4 years. So it has to be 97, 98 where it will be recording the highest profitability. यही हम check करना शुरू करेंगे. We will be writing 2.5 by 100 for 94, 95. So 2.5 upon 100. This is the ratio, isn't it? For 97, 98, we will be writing 8.5 upon 290. देखो, if the denominator has become almost 3 times, the numerator should also become 3 times so that the fraction is same. 3 times of 2.5 is 7.5. पर वो 7.5 से भी ऊपर हो गया, तो बड़ा हो गया ना between 97, 98 and 94, 95. Got it? So the answer is B and not any other option. Next, with probability defined in question 7, sorry, it's not 137, it can be concluded that. So we will have to check every option one by one. Profitability is non-decreasing during the 5 years from 94, 95 to 98, 99. Is it non-decreasing? Non-decreasing matlab it's either constant or it's increasing. Of course, no. ये numerator was greater than denominator, suddenly numerator becomes less than denominator, फिर बराबर हो गया, फिर ऊपर गया, फिर नीचे गया. As in diamond and square, they both are playing hide and seek. Sometimes diamond is above square, sometimes square is above diamond. Like the kind of chase in cricket matches, the net run rate chase that happens, same thing. So of course it's not non-decreasing. Is it non-increasing? Non-increasing मतलब is it consistently decreasing? नहीं, कभी ऊपर जाता है, कभी नीचे जाता है. Profitability remained constant during the 5 years from this. Was it constant? No. Different fractions, right? Sometimes more than 1, sometimes less than 1. How come it's constant? So obviously the right answer is going to be D, none of these. We don't have to solve any. Okay. One more set. Pie chart. So we have got operating profit in the year 91-92 is 160 lakh. Operating profit in the year 90-91 is 130 lakh. There are 5 components to each year. You have got interest, tax, retained profit, dividend and depreciation. 30, 9, 25, 8, 28. So 28, 8 and 9 is going to result in 45% plus 30 and 25 is 55. So it's 100%. Same should go in 91-92. Now we need to calculate the operating profit in 91-92 increased over that in 90-91 by what percentage? So operating profit कितने से बढ़ा? Don't have to solve exact, but 130 lakh has become 160, right? That's the percentage change in the operating profit. This is where operating profit is. Pie chart is not your operating profit. I mean, pie chart is the operating profit, but you don't have any of the pies as operating profit. So that's an increase of 30 over 130. Which is same as increase of 3 over 13. How much is that 3 over 13? What percentage is this? 1 by 13 is 7.7%. So 3 by 13 कितना होगा? 7.7 का 3 times? Which is going to be 22 or 23 or 24. So you have to be careful over here, okay? 7.7% का 3 times is what you will have. So this is 7 into 3, 21, 7 into 3, 21, so you will have 21 plus 2.1, right? So this is going to be 23.1. So 23.1 से थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा होगा. Which option is the closest? Option A. It's not going to cross 23.5. Or will it? It won't. Because the actual percentage of 1 by 13 is 7.69. It's not even 7.7. अपन 7.7 ले रहे हैं तो इतना 23.1 आ रहा है. So it's going to be closest to 23%. The interest burden in 1991-92 was higher than that in 1991 by what percentage or quantity or magnitude? So we have combination of options. 2 options are percentage, 2 options are magnitude. So interest burden, interest तो यही है भाई. And since they are asking us, if you look at the percentages, तो उसको solve कर सकते हैं. So what is the operating profit here? 13 into 3, which is going to be 39. So interest under operating profit of 130 lakh is going to be 13 into 3. And this one is going to be 16 into 4. Right? So 39 and 64. What is the change? We will look at the magnitude change if we can figure it out. Otherwise, we will go after percentage change. 39 has become 64, the interest burden. कितना है ये? 25 lakhs. This is 39 lakhs. This is 64 lakhs. Right? 39 plus 25 64 ही तो होता है. Okay, next one. If on an average 20% rate of interest was charged on borrowed funds, then the total borrowed funds used by this company in the given 2 years amounted to. So we have the interest. Then the total borrowed funds used by this company in the given 2 years amounted to. So it says on an average. So what does this mean? What calculation do we have to do? Any idea what the question is asking us? See, you don't have a borrowed fund ka pie. There is not a slice of pie which says it's borrowed fund. So what do you mean by this? Anyone? Okay, so what it means is, it says if on an average. If on an average means whether we consider 1991 or 91-92. So suppose in the year 1991, suppose borrowed funds is F1, 91 है तो F1 लिख देते हैं. Then can we say 20% of this interest was charged on this fund, and this is going to be the interest that we are getting from here, which is going to be 30% of 130 lakhs. ये जो interest है 30% of 130 lakhs, it has come from interest that has come from borrowed funds. So what will be the value of F1 for this particular year? 30% by 20% is 3 by 2, which is 1.5. 1.5 of 130 is going to be 130 plus 65. So 195 lakhs. That's what the borrowed fund in the year 1991 is going to be. Using the same logic, suppose I say F2 is the borrowed fund for the year 91-92. Iska 20% of that fund is this 40% of 160 lakh. So what will be F2? So 40% and 20%, 40% by 20% is 2. So it's 2 times of 160 lakh. So 2 times of 160 lakh is going to be 320 lakh. What is the sum of the total funds? As in दोनों साल मिला के what is the sum that is going to amount to? 320 plus 195, which is going to result in 515 D. नहीं मोहित, ये you are thinking that this is the interest, right? 20% of this 30% is happening. If you are thinking that, but this is charged on borrowed funds. But ये 30% is a component of 130 lakhs, which is operating profit. ये अलग word है. I have no idea. I'm an engineer. I have no idea what operating profit is. I have no idea about what borrowed fund is, retained profit, depreciation क्या है, मेरे को कोई technical नहीं पता. Only people from accounts or commerce background will understand all of this, isn't it? So how will I understand? Borrowed funds is a word. I don't see a borrowed fund here. Means borrowed fund is something imaginary, or it's something which is not here right in front of our eyes. सो ये इंटरेस्ट का कोई इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेट नहीं हो रहा है बिकॉज दिस इंटरेस्ट इज ऑन ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट. दे आर आस्किंग अस अ रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट which is a calculation on some other funds. कोई और नंबर के ऊपर है. Okay? 12th, the retained profit in 91-92 as compared to that in 1991. So retained profit 1991 and 91-92. So 130, 25% of 130, which is saying 1/4 of 130, which is same as 25 into 13. आपको परसेंटेज ही चेक करना है तो आप मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, टेक द रेशियो, डजंट मैटर. You work on magnitude, still you'll get the same answer. So we can do 25 into 13 also. So if I do 25 into 13, this is 250 plus 75, 325. And if I calculate 20% of 160, which is saying 20 into 16, जैसे इधर करा 25 into 13, इधर को 20 into 16 कर लो. So this is going to be 20 into 16, which will give us 320. Now question is the retained profit in 1991 as compared to, as in the base is 325, was higher or lower. It was definitely lower in terms of magnitude also as well as percentage भी. So ये higher वाले options तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. Next is it more than 2%? Is it less than 2%? We can see that this is a decrease of 5. 5 is what percentage of 325? Well, 1% of 325 is 3.25. 2% of 325 will be 6.5. पर अपने पास 6.5 तो है नहीं. So if it is not going to account for even 2%, how can it account for 2.5%? So we are left with only one option, which is going to be D. Right? Next. The equity base of these companies remain unchanged. What is equity base? No idea. The word equity is not here, the word base is not here. Even if the word base is not a technical word base, but it is more like the starting value, equity is not here, right? Then the total dividend earning by the shareholders in 91-92 is, so we have to only concentrate on 91-92, and they're asking us about the dividend. So how will we calculate this? Do we need technical knowledge, technical know-how about what equity base is and how do you calculate dividend? How do we calculate dividend? See, answer is not, nowhere cannot be determined. So it means equity base of this company remain unchanged, has got no effect whatsoever. So you can simply reduce the question to what is the total dividend earned by the shareholders in 91-92. केवल ये calculate करना है आपको. हाँ अखिल मेरे को भी नहीं पता, मोहित को आइडिया है. इट्स टोटल प्रॉफिट अपॉन टोटल शेयर होल्डर, कुछ है यार, नो आइडिया. बट इफ आई इग्नोर द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट बिकॉज इक्विटी इज नॉट देयर एंड इफ इक्विटी इज कांस्टेंट, सम फॉर्मूला इज एप्लीकेबल. तो 1991 में भी इक्विटी सेम था, 1991-92 में भी सेम था. सो परसेंटेज चेंजेस आर हैपनिंग, सो इट मे वेरी, राइट? It should be some percentage of equity base, some percentage divided by equity base. कुछ तो होता होगा. The bases are changing, right? 130 and 160. Percentages are also changing of the pies. So obviously answer cannot be determined. If it is dependent on equity base, we don't have CBD. तो पहला statement ignore करते हैं. Question simply changes to total dividend earning by the shareholders in 91-92. Dividend is 8%. This is 160 lakh. So this is 8% of 160 lakh, which is 8 into 16. What is 8 into 16? 8 into 16 is 128. 1.28, 12.8, 128, kuch aisa hoga. The only option where you have that sequence is option C. So please understand that CAT or ZAT, all the colleges except IFT, okay, they do not give you questions where you really need the know-how about a subject. Okay, of course, people who are not interested in sports will talk about. So we do get questions on cricket and football, even though we never watch it. Well, that's not the part of your curriculum, right? That's something that everything watches, everyone watches. Of course, you will not have a question on cricket in Japan because people don't play cricket there. It's India, right? So Indian exam will give you a question on cricket, or maybe a Ludo, or maybe chess. It's understood that these games are being played here. So, ये ऐसा नहीं है कि you really need the definition and the formulas in order to understand this particular set. Even if you are from a science background, non-commerce background, still you should be able to understand it. Don't treat the words as technical words. Treat that as a कोई term है, किसी का नाम है. Okay? IFT but can give you questions like these. For example, IFT gives you questions which are very specific to engineers, as in engineers will be able to solve those questions faster. Or they will give you a DI set where you really need a formula and they will not give you the formula, which that formula is only, you know, read by people with commerce or accounts background. They may have read it 11th or 12th or something. Engineers will have no idea about it. Art students, they're always, they suffer the most anyways, right? So that's all for today. Please do register for the open mock, which is going to start from 9th. It will go up to 18th. This will help you identify your CAT strategy. You can also watch the mock attempts by the experts. You will know your strengths and weaknesses, so you know where to work upon. The question-wise video solutions will also be provided. So it's a good way to experience CAT before your D-Day. And people who are willing to still join in the last moment for this year's CAT can join our comprehensive program. So what all things do you get here? You get 135 plus live sessions by alumni and serial 99 percentilers. You get more than 90 topics are covered in these 3 sessions per subtopic. Total 300 plus high definition recorded sessions are provided. You have got 70 plus full mock tests, including CAT and non-CAT. 9,500 plus, almost 10,000 practice questions. Almost 1,500 plus questions are discussed in the class itself. 4 books, not out of those, it's beyond 10,000 questions. You get 4 books for practice, and for GDPI preparation, you get live as well as recorded sessions. So everyone, please do like the video, share it with your friends, and comment if you find any issue or any query in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you have doubts, you can join the Telegram group, and in that Telegram group, you can share your doubts related to problems, quant, LRDI, or generic problems related to colleges and cutoffs. If you download our BYJU'S exam prep app, therein you will find hundreds of free video lectures where concepts are also discussed and strategies are discussed, a lot of questions are discussed, previous year papers are discussed. So everything is there on our BYJU'S exam prep app. Thank you everyone. Thank you for attending. Please make sure that before you leave, you hit that like button. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.